Powered by the Montana Television Network. Montana This Morning continues on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening. For parts of North America, the sun went out today. For a little under 3 minutes, the forces of darkness ruled in daylight as a great swath of shadow up to 190 miles wide cut across the continent from the coast of Oregon to Greenland. It was the last total...
Well, it may not be 1979, and it sure isn't the evening, but it is Solar Eclipse Day across America. Good morning, everyone. I'm Victoria Hill here with Rob Griggs, and that video you just saw was from a broadcast on February 26th, 1979.
I remember the day.
You do, and just like then, today, Monday, August 21st, will be a day that goes down in history.
A day that goes down in infamy. Except it's not infamy, it would actually be. That was my Cronkite. How'd you like that?
I give it an A+. Good job.
That's not what you said during the break.
I said, why me during the break?
I'm a problem child.
We all just have to get along.
I'm harmless. I'm completely harmless, folks. And I'm caffeinated. I mean, really caffeinated today. You gotta be. It's the big eclipse day. Ed McIntosh down in Casper, Wyoming with Ed Beals. They'll be checking in with us a little bit later on. Right now, we've got a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Just check this out. High-level clouds. Those clouds are starting to clear out. As the sun comes out, you'll see there's blue sky up above that. A little bit of smoke in the area right now. Winds starting to shift to the northwest. Eventually, they'll make the turn to the northeast, and that's going to clear out what's left of the smoke in the area, at least for a while. Yesterday's high, 85, will be cruising right toward that, maybe not quite as warm. And this morning's low so far about 55 degrees. You can see in Billings we've edged up to 56. Livingston, meanwhile, sitting at 45, as is the case with Bozeman. Glendive sitting at 53, and skies are clearing up nicely. And as we look ahead here, we've got that total eclipse, or at least maximum eclipse, for the Billings area at around 11:39 here in Billings. So by noon, we're on the waning side of that. Partial eclipse still in play, kind of fun. And what is today? What's the holiday? Oh, look, kids, it's Solar Eclipse Day, 11:39.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
Everyone's only been talking about it for weeks now. The hype's really built up, and today's the big day. I couldn't sleep last night.
Really? Because of the eclipse?
No, because my baby started crying.
Okay.
But I'm sure there are other people out there who are so excited this morning that they weren't able to maybe go to sleep last night.
It is fun, and I may be poking a little bit of fun at all the fun, but I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's right.
It's a happy time. All right, well, not so happy times in the news today, so I'll go ahead and get started. Thanks, Rob. The U.S. Navy is reporting the USS John S. McCain collided with a merchant ship east of Singapore. The guided missile destroyer sustained damage on the back left side, and search and rescue efforts are underway. It's the second collision involving a Navy ship in the Pacific in 2 months. Also making headlines, President Trump will address the nation tonight on his strategy for Afghanistan and South Asia. Officials familiar with the plan expect 4,000 troops to be deployed, but caution that could change. Meanwhile, millions of Americans will be looking up to the sky later today for the first total solar eclipse to sweep the U.S. coast to coast in 99 years. CBS's Don Champion is in St. Joseph, Missouri, where people have been flocking for one of the best positions to watch the moon block the sun.
Millions will look toward the sky today for astronomical amazement. For the first time since 1979, the moon will completely blot out the midday sun along a path stretching from Oregon to South Carolina.
There's a hustle and a bustle and kind of an excitement and an anticipation.
The tiny farming town of Madras, Oregon will be one of the first places to view the total eclipse around 1:16 Eastern Time. In Carbondale, Illinois, which will be in the dark the longest for 2 minutes and 40 seconds, thousands will pack this sold-out football stadium.
The site is something that's going to really please Americans and make them think differently.
St. Joseph, Missouri is the 5th largest city along the so-called path of totality. Hotels here started selling out for the eclipse more than a year ago.
Lauren Daves and her family rented an RV and drove here from Texas.
It's going to be incredible, just with the sky going dark and all the glow.
The Phillips family drove here from Oklahoma and will be camping out.
You won't be able to see the moon or the sun. It's just going to look like a ring of fire.
I imagine at the moment of totality, everybody's just going to be in awe. And I just want to feel everybody in the same emotional state. I think that's going to be empowering.
And an experience few will ever forget. Don Champion, CBS News, St. Joseph, Missouri.
All of North America will get at least a partial eclipse today. The next solar eclipse will be visible in the U.S. in April 2024, and the next coast-to-coast one is in 2045. And we will have all of the eclipse coverage you'll need right here on Q2. It all begins at 11 a.m. with a special report from CBS. Ed McIntosh and our friend Craig Beals will be live from Casper, Wyoming, starting at 11:30. Coverage will continue through 1 o'clock with the delayed noon news all right here on Q2. Now we move on to Fire Watch. More people forced from their homes by the Lolo Peak fire will be able to return home this morning. At 10 a.m., some evacuation orders will be replaced with warnings allowing residents to go home. The fire, located west of Missoula, continues to burn almost 31,000 acres. Started on July 15th, the Lolo Peak fire has been burning for more than a month. Fire officials say it's now the #1 fire in the northern Rockies. And because of this, the Montana National Guard arrived on Saturday to provide relief for exhausted local law enforcement working the Lolo Peak fire. 155 soldiers will staff 35 security checkpoints and patrol evacuated areas to provide relief around the fire. In addition to soldiers on the ground, the National Guard has a helicopter scheduled to arrive today that will assist with fire operations. Seeing military vehicles on the side of the road may be unusual, but the fire officials say it's nothing that Montana hasn't seen before.
Yeah, so it's very normal in Montana for the National Guard to show up when we have large fires and help out the local county sheriffs. The county sheriffs have a normal job to do when they have a lot of fires going in the counties like Missoula County does now. They really get run ragged because they're trying to do their regular job plus assist on all the fires.
Fire information officers say the National Guard is looking at the possibility of deploying more ground support and helicopters. Meanwhile, firefighters are also working to stop a 3,000-acre fire burning in Glacier County. The fire was started by a 7-year-old playing with a lighter last Wednesday. Right now, 32 firefighters are working to stop its spread. It's now 39% contained. And it's been more than a month since the Lodgepole complex of fires started and burned more than 270,000 acres. Q2's David J. reports on a workday that helped out a family in Garfield County.
Volunteers replaced burned, damaged, and destroyed fencing for the Petersons on their ranch near Mosby in Garfield County.
When you have people by this numbers come to help you, it's awesome.
It's amazing. They come from everywhere and just to help us out. So it's a great thing.
And the Petersons have a lot of fencing to replace on the exterior of their property.
I'm 76 years old last February, and I told my wife I would probably never see this place fenced in what's left of my life. Now, maybe I will.
The fire burned more than 270,000 acres and came close to the Petersons' home. But the fire destroyed Larry's childhood home, which the Petersons' daughter was restoring.
This fire was a little bit overwhelming. I've never seen such a fire before.
They have about 22 miles of fencing to replace. Some of it that got burned is similar to this, and this is some of the original cedar that was put in by Larry and his family.
This was actually the sad part for him to see, because his grandfather and uncles and his dad and himself, they put up most of these fences.
The Breakfast Flakes, with the help of people making donations, celebrated the day of installing fences with about 200 volunteers.
Everybody that's here today is here because they want to do something nice. They want to do something neighborly. They've been in a situation where they've had loss and somebody's helped them out. This is really a feel-good event, and people are just helping because they want to help.
There's a lot of people that have been devastated by this fire, and Montanans help each other out in times of need, so figured we'd come up, pitch in, and do our part.
I'm not sure when I'll be able to write all these thank you cards, but I would like to put it out to everybody and to all the firefighters and all the people who worked on them fires. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
In Mosby, David J., MTN News.
Thank you, David. Now in other news, runners hit the pavement in honor of our country's warriors. The 4th annual Warrior Run brought together 200 runners atop the Billings Rims on Sunday. The run honors people who have served our country and helps former service members in need. Proceeds are used to help veterans in the Billings area with scholarships for school, food, and medical help. Everyone running in the race was given a yellow ribbon, and they were able to write the name of a person they wanted to honor. At the halfway point in the race, the ribbons were pinned to a post to serve as a reminder of the people who fought and died for our country.
Well, you know, the run is about taking time and remembering why we can gather here and do this. The people who have really sacrificed so much so that we can have the freedoms that we have. And most runs, you know, you're running for your time, you're running for your place. This run, you're running for someone else.
And those posts are kept from year to year and are displayed at the starting line to commemorate all veterans honored at the race in years past. Elsewhere, Metro Park Fairgrounds looked like a ghost town this morning compared to just a few days ago. The 102nd Montana Fair ended on Saturday. Metro Park General Manager Bill Dutcher says even without record numbers, it was yet another successful year. Crews took apart the Mighty Thomas Carnival on Sunday afternoon. Dutcher says the carnival, food vendors, entertainment, and other areas did very well. He does not have attendance numbers quite yet, but says the fair typically draws more than 230,000 people.
My guess is maybe you don't have the record on top here, but to pay all the bills, yes. To make some gravy on top, maybe not everything was a record, but very successful. I think that's what everybody would look for as a goal, and I would say those goals would be met.
Some preliminary numbers will be out later today. The planning for next year's Montana Fair will start a day after Labor Day. Well, before we take a break, we bring you this month's awaiting child. MTN's John Amy introduces us to Luann Rogers, who hopes one day she can find a family and become a big sister.
17-year-old Luann Rogers is a busy young lady with many interests.
I like to do Taekwondo, and I like drawing and art and stuff. I do a little bit of pottery.
Luann, who is from Arizona and now living in Butte, is looking for a family and would really like to be a big sister.
I want to be the oldest person because I never got the chance of being a big sister or a sister at all. I just like watching them just like grow up and look up to me and just say hi and say I love you, sister.
The best kind of parents for Luann would be those who can keep up with her tremendous energy.
Probably energetic, outgoing. She likes to do fun things, go have fun. You know, like any 17-year-old kid.
She wants to go to college and study to be an RN, but that's not all.
I also want to go to cosmetology school to do a lot of stuff because I like doing hair, I like doing makeup and stuff. It makes me happy.
And it would make her happy to find a happy home. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Thank you so much, John. Stick with us here on Montana This Morning. Still ahead, Ed and part of the Q2 crew are in Casper, Wyoming for the total solar eclipse. We'll hear from them right after this break. Stick around. It's 57 degrees. The time is 6:13.